Common sense transformation, time stop, body exchange, body synesthesia, life experience, brainwashing master, sex transformation shock wave, one shot into the soul, strong like a cow travel through the world of science and obtain the Shuhu system. As long as the main characters of Hu Jie can obtain Hu Jie points, only using Hu Jie points can draw skills. But the skills extracted from the system are a bit inappropriate. Truncate Mouri Lan, draw skill common sense transformation, able to transform others common sense. Hu Suzuki Garden, draw skill time to stop, can briefly stop time passing. Katsuko Sato, with the skill of brainwashing, can subtly brainwash the opponent through language. Cut off Hu Yuanshan and Ye, draw skill to enlarge or shrink, and be able to enlarge or shrink a certain object. Jie Hu Hui Yuan Ai, with the ability to draw longer and shorter skills, can make an object longer or shorter. The concubine of the barbarians is wise, and if she draws a skill, she will enter her soul with one-shot Conan. Not scientific. This is not scientific. Qin Jiu. That guy, what kind of monster is that guy? Fei Yingli. Oh, Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. The first chapter starts with Xiaolan directly. You are listening at novel full.audio. Mihua Town. A certain apartment. In a dimly lit room. Guanri Kuxian slowly opened his eyes. He instinctively lowered his head to look into his arms, and what caught his eye was the delicate and beautiful face of the young girl. His face was pale and full of fatigue. If you observe carefully, you can also see several tear marks. Wait. Wait a minute. This is Xiaolan. Was it Xiaolan who was hyped up by me last night? Guanri Kuxian made an effort to recall what happened last night. As a criminal police officer in the police station, he just finished his night shift and drove home. As I was about to get home, I saw a person swaying and stumbling along the roadside, Xiaolan. Of course, because Xiaolan lowered her head all the way back then and her hair was still loose, he didn't recognize her. 3 yellow hairs followed behind Xiaolan, indicating that they were plotting against her. As a criminal police officer with a heart for justice, it was impossible for Guanri Kuxian to watch those 3 yellow-haired men succeed, so he got out of the car and chased after them all the way to the depths of the alley. Although as a time traveler, Guanri Kuxian did not possess anything like golden fingers or systems like the protagonists in the novel. But in this lifetime, he received professional training from a young age due to being born into a criminal police family. So it's just 3 yellow hairs, he just managed to solve it with a few clicks. I didn't think about the outcome. One of the yellow hairs was obviously afraid of being caught by Guanri Kuxian, so he sprayed some unknown things at him, making him dizzy and producing a feeling of ethereal pleasure. At the same time, his body quickly became hot and dry. Originally, Guanri Kuxian could still restrain the burning flames in his heart. But when he went to check the state of Xiaolan curled up on the street corner, she seemed to have lost control. Suddenly, she threw herself into his arms and gave him a kiss. He couldn't control himself anymore and just stood still. After almost half an hour, he gradually calmed down, but only a little bit, so he simply took Xiaolan home, where the firewood caught fire. What kind of thing is all this? Recalling the little things that happened last night, Guanri Kuxian couldn't help but furrow his brow. By the way, I remember last night when I was in the same place with Xiaolan or something, it seemed like I had a ding sound in my ear. Shouldn't it be my hallucination? Could it be that is my system here? System. Hello host, the strongest shaving system is delighted to serve you. What? It's really a system. Mist grass. Guanri Kuxian was overjoyed and quickly asked, System, what functions do you have? Hello host, the function of this system is very simple. Every time the host completes the truncation of Conan World's main characters, they can obtain truncation points. Using truncation points can extract various powerful skills from this system. Is it gone? It's gone. The system, how many stun points do I have now? Can I draw skills now? The host currently has a truncation point of 10,000 and can perform a skill extraction. 1W. Where did that come from? Could it be? Guanri Kuxian's gaze instinctively turned to Xiaolan, who was sleeping soundly. At this moment. Ding-ling-ling. The urgent phone rang suddenly. Guanri Kuxian glanced at Xiaolan, who was sleeping soundly, then climbed up lightly and walked quickly to the living room before answering the phone. Hello. Hello, this is. Kuxianjun, it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning. Why haven't you come yet? Are you feeling unwell listening to your voice? Before Guanri Kuxian could finish speaking, a beautiful and capable female voice spread across the phone. There is a hint of urgency in the voice. A figure immediately appeared in Guanri Kuxian's mind. The other person has short black hair, purple eyes, and exudes a heroic aura all over their body. Cough, my Heezy, I'm feeling a bit unwell. I just woke up and shouldn't be able to go over. Could you please help me take a leave from Officer Mu Mu? Guanri Kuxian's voice was hoarse. He is really a bit hoarse, not just pretending. After all, last night was a bit crazy, my saliva was almost dry. The words have just finished. On the other end of the phone, Sato Miko's concerned voice came. Ko Xianjun, are you okay? Don't worry, are you? Did you catch a cold? Do you have any medicine at home? Guanri Kuxian's heart warmed and he said softly, it's okay. I already took the medicine last night, and I should be able to recover after taking a day off today. Ha! A sigh of relief came from the other end of the phone, followed by another voice. That's good, that's good. Since that's the case, I won't disturb Kuxianjun. You rest well, I will help you take leave with Officer Mu. Guanri Kuxian gratefully said, then I'll trouble you. Sato Miko. No trouble, no trouble. Kuxianjun often helps me at work, which is what I should do. Then I'll hang up first. Do hang up the phone. After Guanri Kuxian put down his phone, he refocused his attention on the system. After rubbing his hands, he said, System, come on, I'm ready, I want to draw skills. System. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill. Common sense transformation. Guanri Kuxian. Guanri Kuxian. Good guy, common sense transformation. Guanri Kuxian. System, are you serious? The content of this article is tentatively set as 50% black organization main storyline plus 30% interaction with female leads plus 20% case solving. I won't write too much about solving cases, please greatly supervise readers. Finally, I am looking for free flowers, free evaluation tickets, monthly tickets, and tips. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. System, are you not very serious? You are listening at novel full.audio. Common sense transformation. Guanri Kuxian's face was full of question marks. The system, shouldn't it be the common sense transformation I thought? System. Dear, that's the common sense transformation you're thinking about right now. Guanri Kuxian. What? Guanri Kuxian. Guanri Kuxian was immediately dumbfounded. It seemed that he didn't believe it, and the system immediately popped up a semi-transparent light curtain in front of him. Name. Guanri Kuxian, age. 22, cutting point. 0, mastering skills. Common sense change, it is possible to change a person's common sense in a short period of time, but it is necessary to change someone else's common sense in the long term. Regularly apply this skill to them. The larger the change in common sense, the greater the physical and mental energy consumed, and the stronger the opponent's willpower, the shorter the time for common sense transformation. Sha. Looking at the system panel in front of him, Guanri Kuxian couldn't help but widen his eyes and mouth. After being stunned for several seconds, he suddenly reached out and rubbed his eyes vigorously, then looked back at the panel in front of him. Next up. Guanri Kuxian suddenly reached out again and pinched his thigh fiercely. Hiss, a sharp pain came. This proves that he is not dreaming. There was no dizziness or dreaming, which indicates that the first skill I drew was really the common sense change I knew. Missed grass, what's the use of this skill for me? I'm a serious person, not one of the failed losers in HM. With my appearance and abilities, I can't use this skill. Guanri Kuxian didn't know what to say. He is serious. It's broken, isn't the system I activated not a legitimate system? Guanri Kuxian suddenly had such thoughts in his heart. Who would a serious person use such vulgar skills on others? Common sense transformation is really useful. Fortunately, my first skill I won was it, otherwise I really wouldn't know how to solve Xiaolan's problem. In the bedroom. Watching Xiaolan constantly shedding tears, with a guilty face and apologizing to herself, Guanri Kuxian couldn't help but feel relieved in his heart. After waiting for several seconds for the strong dizziness caused by using common sense to transform Xiaolan to dissipate, Guanri Kuxian finally spoke up and said, "Miss Xiaolan, you don't need to do this. It's not your fault, it's the fault of those 3 people who drugged you." "No, it's my fault." Xiaolan's eyes were red, she clenched her fists tightly, feeling extremely guilty. If it weren't for my insistence on taking a shortcut home last night, I wouldn't have met those 3 damn guys. If I hadn't met those 3 guys, I wouldn't have been drugged by them. If I hadn't been drugged by them, Officer Sun, you wouldn't have been drugged by them just to save me, causing me to take away my precious virginity in this alley. Damn it. Yes. No mistake. This is the common sense that Guanri Kuxian transformed Xiaolan. After the renovation was completed, for Xiaolan, the values of men and women were directly reversed. Of course. This reversed common sense can only take effect on Guanri Kuxian. What does it mean? The meaning is, when Xiaolan faces others, her modified concept of gender values will still be normal. Only when it comes to Guanri Kuxian, will it be reversed. I'm really sorry, I'm really sorry. Xiaolan kept apologizing to Guanri Kuxian while shedding tears. I didn't expect that in Xiaolan's mind, the girl's first time was so important and precious, so much so that after being reversed, she would now feel guilty to death. Listening to Xiaolan's incessant apologies, Guanri Kuxian suddenly felt this way in his heart. Suddenly. I saw Xiaolan suddenly clenching her fist, as if she had made some kind of decision. Don't worry, Officer Guanri. Guanri Kuxian said, what? Xiaolan, with a white face and bright eyes, said firmly and resolutely, I will take responsibility. I will definitely take responsibility for you. Guanri Kuxian. Puff. Guanri Kuxian suddenly didn't know what to say. Upon seeing this, Xiaolan suddenly reached out and grabbed his hand, repeating sincerely, Officer Guanri, I will definitely take responsibility. Trust me. Really? Are you really responsible to me? In order to prevent logical problems in common sense transformation, Guanri Kuxian had to cooperate with Xiaolan. Really, I swear. I swear to heaven. Xiaolan raised her hand and looked into Guanri Kuxian's eyes, saying with utmost seriousness, if I lie, if I disappoint you in the future, there will be 5 thunderbolts. After taking the oath, Xiaolan continued to plead with guilt, Officer Guanri, no, Kuxian-jun, believe me, okay. Okay, I believe you, Xiaolan. Just as Guangri Kuxian nodded, Xiaolan breathed a sigh of relief. A hint of joy quickly appeared on her pale and guilty pretty face, and then she threw herself into Guangri Kuxian's arms, muttering, "That's great, it's really great. Seeking free flowers. Seeking free evaluation tickets. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Begging for everything. Give me some free flowers and free review tickets. 1 or 2 flowers are also love, and 1 or 2 pictures are also love. If you don't have them, just deduct 1 from the comments section and let the author know that someone is watching." As we all know, the first day data from Feilu is very important. If there are no flower evaluation tickets on the first day of publishing, it is really difficult to persist. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3 Xiaolan. I will be responsible to the end. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaolan, why don't you take a good rest? After all, last night was also your first time, and I messed with you all night. Watching him limp and keep coming back and forth. Xiaolan, who was cleaning herself and doing laundry, cooking, and stir-frying, couldn't help but persuade Kuxian once again. Xiaolan quickly shook her head and said, "It's okay. I've been practicing taekwondo since I was young, and this pain is not a problem at all." Xiaolan looked up and smiled brightly at Guangri Kuxian, saying, "Kuxian Jun, just sit on the sofa and rest. The food will be ready soon." Guangri Kuxian said, "Then I'll trouble you." Xiaolan waved her hand and said, no trouble, this is all I should do." After speaking, Xiaolan became busy again. From bedroom to bathroom, then from bathroom to living room, and finally to kitchen. Kuxian didn't know what to say after watching Guangri. "Chicken soup is here," Xiaolan's voice suddenly came from the kitchen. Guangri Kuxian regained his senses and saw Xiaolan carrying a steaming pot of chicken soup onto the table where 7 or 8 dishes of various sizes had already been placed. "Kuxian Jun, let's eat now." Xiaolan called out to him. "Here we go." Guangri Kuxian stood up from the sofa and strode to the dining table. Xiaolan quickly pulled open the stool for him. "Thank you very much, Xiaolan." Guangri Kuxian reached out and wiped the sweat off Xiaolan's forehead. "It's not hard, this is all I should do." After quickly shaking her head, Xiaolan quickly reached out to help Guangri Kuxian sit down, and then she picked up the vegetables. "Kuxian Jun, try this." "Kuxian Jun, this soup tastes great for you to taste." "Kuxian Jun, this is very helpful. You worked so hard last night, so you must eat more today." Kuxian Jun. Under the enthusiastic service of Xiaolan, Guangri Kuxian quickly became overeated. "How about Kuxian Jun? Did the food I cooked satisfy your taste?" Xiaolan looked expectant. Guangri Kuxian nodded noncommittally and said, "It's delicious, I really like it." He as long as you like it, I'll keep making it for you to eat in the future." A bright smile appeared on Xiaolan's face. But then, she seemed to have thought of something, suddenly biting her lips and hesitating, saying, "So, that. Kuxian Jun, I have something I want to discuss with you." Guangri Kuxian cast a curious glance at her and said, "What's wrong, Xiaolan?" "Just." Xiaolan bit her lips, her face full of hesitation and struggle. Half a day after hesitating to speak, he weakly said, "Regarding our matter. Because I still have to study. And I don't want to worry too much about my dad and mom, so I want to keep it a secret from outsiders for now and not disclose our information, can I?" "Say it." Xiaolan's eyes were bright and she stared at Guangri Kuxian with a worried expression. But before Kuxian could speak, she raised her hand again and said in a sworn tone, "But don't worry, Kuxian Jun. I said I would be responsible to you. After I graduate, I will announce our relationship as soon as possible. I will definitely do it. Of course, not a problem. Guanri Kuxian nodded quickly without hesitation. Xiaolan breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing the situation, but then suddenly asked in a faint voice, Kuxian Jun, why did you agree so quickly? You wouldn't still think of the female police officer named Maihizi who called earlier and was very concerned about you, would you? Is this being jealous? Guanri Kuxian's expression suddenly became strange. However, considering Xiaolan's personality, she is very conservative in terms of male-female relationships. Conservative means strong possessiveness. Having a strong possessiveness means being prone to overthinking and jealousy. You overthink it, Maihizi and I are just colleagues in the workplace. After explaining a sentence, Guanri Kuxian immediately changed the topic and said, it's you, Xiaolan. How do you plan to handle your relationship with Kudo? Xiaolan's face changed and she quickly shook her head to explain, I have nothing to do with Sini. Don't misunderstand, Kuxian Jun. Guanri Kuxian suddenly placed his hands on Xiaolan's fragrant shoulders, looked into her eyes, and said, Xiaolan, don't deceive yourself. You clearly like him, don't you? You don't want to reveal our relationship, isn't it because of him? Xiaolan shook her head again and said, no, Kuxian Jun, listen to me explain. I really don't think so. The reason why I don't want to disclose our relationship temporarily is really just because I'm still studying and don't want to worry about my dad and mom. As Xiaolan spoke, she suddenly threw herself into Guanri Kuxian's arms and said, as for Sini's matter. He had previously arranged for me to go to Dalabigia Park tomorrow. I will explain it to him tomorrow and distinguish the boundaries with him. I will definitely do it. Xiaolan lifted her head from Guanri Kuxian's arms, with tears in her eyes and full of hope. Believe me once, okay, Kuxian Jun. Since it's my first time taking away your virginity. Damn it, then I will definitely take responsibility to the end. Seeking free flowers. Seeking free evaluation tickets. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Begging for everything. Give me some free flowers and free review tickets. 1 or 2 flowers are also love, and 1 or 2 pictures are also love. If you don't have them, just deduct 1 from the comments section and let the author know that someone is watching. As we all know, the first day data from Feilu is very important. If there are no flower evaluation tickets on the first day of publishing, it is really difficult to persist. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Kudo Shinichi with negative emotional intelligence. You are listening at novel full.audio. 2 bug. It's really a bug. Common sense changes this skill, it's really a bug. Looking at Xiaolan crying uncontrollably in his arms, Guanri Kuxian couldn't help but feel a strong sense of heartache in his heart. Anyone who sees a beautiful woman crying in their arms will feel heartbroken, right? Alright, don't cry. I believe you, can't I believe you yet? Guanri Kuxian couldn't help but caress Xiaolan's back and speak softly. Really? Really? Xiaolan's teary eyes were hazy, full of hope. Guanri Kuxian nodded without hesitation and said, really, absolutely, I believe in you. That's great, Kuxian Jun. You're so kind, Kuxian Jun. Xiaolan immediately smiled and smiled, then took the initiative to give her little mouth. Not long. With strong capital, Guanri Kuxian directly carried her into the bedroom. In the evening. At dusk. Mouri Detective's office, downstairs. Alright, Kuxian Jun, take me here. Xiaolan stopped in front of the stairs and headed towards Guanri Kuxian Dao. Let me take you up. These steps are quite high, and we were so crazy during the day. You couldn't even walk just now. Before Guanri Kuxian could finish speaking, Xiaolan's face suddenly turned red. She hurriedly covered his mouth and said, "Don't say anything." Guanri Kuxian smiled and shook his head, well, I won't say anything, but my Royal Highness Princess, please let me take you upstairs. I'm a little worried about you." Speaking, Guanri Kuxian didn't wait for Xiaolan to refuse. He bent down and reached out his hand in the form of a princess's embrace. Gently picked up Xiaolan, and then walked up the stairs step by step. "Open the door and push it in. The room is very quiet. Uncle Mouri doesn't seem to be around, shall I just take you back to your room?" "Okay." Guanri Kuxian walked into the room with Xiaolan in his arms, passed by the entrance, and as he passed through the living room, he found that Maoli Xiao Wulang was not absent, but rather drunk and sleeping soundly on the sofa. "Come to Xiaolan's room." After gently putting her down and covering the bedding, just as Kuxian was about to leave, he was grabbed by Xiaolan's sleeve. "What's wrong, Lan?" Guanri Kuxian looked at Xiaolan in confusion and saw that Xiaolan blushed slightly and lightly nuzzled her mouth. He immediately smiled and then lowered his head. A few minutes later. "All right, Lan, rest well and call me anytime if you have anything to do." Guanri Kuxian gently rubbed Xiaolan's head and gave her a pat on the head, then said gently. Xiaolan blushed, gasping for breath, and nodded, so I'll go first." After leaving Xiaolan's room, Guanri Kuxian noticed that the sleeping position of Mouri Zayagoro seemed to have changed as he passed through the living room. However, without much thought, he quickly left Xiaolan's house. Just came out of Xiaolan's family. Or rather, just walked down the stairs. Facing him, he saw a handsome high school boy running over in a hurry. At a glance, Kuxian recognized his identity. Shinichi Kudo. "Officer Guanri, how could you be here?" Seeing Guanri Kuxian descending the stairs, the boy immediately showed a puzzled expression, followed by a worried expression, saying, "Is it possible that something happened to the Xiaolan family?" "No, of course not, it's Miss Xiaolan's business." Guanri Kuxian said. "Xiaolan. What's wrong with Xiaolan? Is something wrong with her? I messaged her this afternoon and even called her, but she didn't answer." Shinichi Kudo showed a worried expression. "You deserve to be single. You deserve to be ripped off in countless novels. The girl I like, I haven't been in touch since yesterday. I waited a whole day to get in touch, I really deserve it." Guanri Kuxian glared at Kudo Shin angrily and said, "It's nothing, it's just that Xiaolan twisted her foot. I'll take her back. She should be asleep now. Do you want to go up and take a look?" Oh, this way, it's okay. I thought something happened to her, it's okay." After letting out a sigh of relief, Kudo Shinichi continued, "Since Xiaolan is fine, I won't disturb her. Coincidentally, I still have a case to investigate. Goodbye, Officer Guanri. Speak on your own." Kudo Shinichi quickly ran away. Guanri Kuxian. What? A case-solving maniac, truly deserving of its reputation. The girl I like was injured and didn't even plan to visit. Solving a case is more important than liking someone, right? This emotional intelligence, that's amazing. Let's go with your case, Xiaolan is mine now. Seeking free flowers. Seeking free evaluation tickets. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Begging for everything. Give me some free flowers and free review tickets. 1 or 2 flowers are also love, and 1 or 2 pictures are also love. If you don't have them, just deduct 1 from the comments section and let the author know that someone is watching. As we all know, the first day data from Feilu is very important. If there are no flower evaluation tickets on the first day of publishing, it is really difficult to persist. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Misako Sato's Doubts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. To be honest. Prior to this, Guanri Kuxian felt a bit guilty and apologetic about using common sense to transform this skill and forcefully intervening in the relationship between Xiaolan and Kudo Shinichi, a childhood sweetheart. But now, his guilt and apology were all gone. It cannot be denied. Kudo Shinichi is really outstanding, and looking at the whole world, he is the most outstanding group of people. He has a very high level of thrust and is known as the savior of the Japanese police and Sherlock Holmes of the Heisei era. His athletic talent is extremely high, his football level is top-notch, and he has been invited by professional teams. In addition, he has achieved good results in various sports fields such as skateboarding and skiing. He has mastered many skills and is skilled in driving, including driving cars, civil aviation planes, helicopters, speedboats, etc. He is also proficient in multiple languages, including but not limited to English, French, German, Portuguese, Spanish, Russian, etc. He also knows flag language, is proficient in Braille, knows the use of sign language, and is skilled in cracking Morse codes. His marksmanship is top-notch, he is proficient in shooting, and his psychological resilience is extremely strong. In the face of Mouri Lan being held hostage by prisoners, he can still calmly shoot and successfully rescue the hostages. He can also accurately target and shoot from a shaking helicopter under average shooting conditions. His acting skills are first-rate, and his imitation ability is very strong. When using the bow tie sound changer, he is good at imitating the character and tone of others. When necessary, he will play different roles to collect evidence and guide the suspect to tell the truth. Wait. The advantages of Kudo Shinichi are really countless. But just because of his attitude just now, Kuxian had already sentenced him to death in his heart. Xiaolan deserves to have something better, such as herself. After understanding this matter, Guanri Kuxian drove back home. His home is also in Mihua town, but it happens to be one east and one west of the Mouri detective office of the Xiaolan family, located in two different directions, which is relatively far away. If driving, it will take about 20 minutes. So by the time he returned to his 200 square meter apartment, the sky had already darkened. The taste is a bit strong. Although before sending Xiaolan back, Guanri Kuxian had already cleaned the room and opened the window. But he and Xiaolan were really crazy during the day, leaving footprints in almost every corner of the room. So there is still a strong smell lingering inside the house. I estimate it will take a whole night to scatter. Guanri Kuxian shook his head and was just about to go to bed and rest for a while. Suddenly, the doorbell rang with a ding-dong sound. Who is it? He arrived at the door in confusion, and through the cat's eye, he saw a familiar figure. Crunch, the door opens. Guanri Kuxian smiled and said, "My Hizi, why did you come?" It is not surprising that Miyako Sato knows about the residence of Kogen Mitsuri. After all, after more than a year of colleagues getting along, with the efforts of Guanri Kuxian, their relationship is rapidly developing in an ambiguous direction. Kuxian-jun, aren't you feeling unwell? I heard your voice this morning and felt quite serious. I stopped by after work and brought you some medicine and a bento. Saying this, Mito Sato walked into the room carrying a bag. Skilled, she arrived at the living room and put down the bag. She looked worried at Guanri Kuxian and said, "Kuxian-jun, how do you feel now?" Guanri Kuxian smiled and nodded, "I'm fine, I've almost recovered." As soon as these words were spoken, Sato Miko's tense body suddenly relaxed, and a relieved smile appeared on her face. "That's good. Once you recover, it's good. Are you hungry, Kuxian-jun? If you're hungry, you can try this bento. I am indeed a bit hungry, so I won't hesitate." Guanri Kuxian said and sat down directly on the sofa, while Sato Miko quickly took out the bento and handed over the chopsticks. I'm moving. Kuxian-jun, it seems that you are really hungry. Eat slowly, stop choking, and drink some water. How does it taste? Is it delicious? Delicious, the taste is very good. Watching Ko-Shien devour and indulge in the light, Miko Sato's face lit up with a brilliant smile, completely letting go of her worries. Afterwards. After her nose suddenly moved, her eyebrows suddenly furrowed. Although she has not experienced any sexual affairs, as a criminal police officer, she still has some understanding of that aspect. There is a saying that goes. Can you still see a pig running without eating pork? So by the time Guanri Kuxian finished his bento and looked up at her, she had already frowned and her expression was very serious. Officer Guanri, you. Sato Miko's voice suddenly changed from gentle to cold, and her gaze towards Ko-Shien in the light sun disappeared from gentleness, filled with anger. Damn it. It's broken. Not good. Guanri Kuxian didn't even think about it. He changed his skills with common sense and quickly activated it against Sato Miko. Thank you for the 1588-point reward from Feilu Book Fan 102-1089. Big shot arrogance. Seeking free flowers. Seeking free evaluation tickets. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Begging for everything. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6 Go. You are listening at novel full.audio. Ha. It's really close, almost crashed. Common sense transformation is really useful, common sense transformation is really YYDS. Watching Sato Miko, whose face was bloodshot and stiff in place, feeling a bit at a loss, and Mitsuri Ko-Hyun, who had just recovered from the dizziness caused by using common sense transformation, his heart suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Just now was almost there. It was almost overturned. If he didn't have common sense to transform this skill, he would definitely not have found a suitable and convincing reason for Sato Miko today. If we can't convince Mizuko Sato, then with the personality of Miko Sato. From now on, Kazuhiro Kogen and Mikako Sato will completely become strangers. All ambiguity will disappear in an instant. Fortunately, there is common sense in transforming. After a sigh of relief in his heart, Guanri Kuxian eased slightly again. After all, common sense transformation is very brain-intensive, that is, spiritual power. And mental power cannot be quickly restored through shortcuts, only by sleeping can it be restored. He doesn't have time to sleep during the day, he and Xiaolan are busy. After a moment of relaxation, Guanri Kuxian finally spoke up and said, "My Hizi, what's wrong with you? Kuxian-jun, are you alone at home during the day?" Sato Miko's face turned blood red and she hesitated to speak. Guanri Kuxian immediately cooperated and showed an awkward expression. Kuxian-jun. I heard that if you guys don't do that kind of thing for a long time, without that kind of life, you will feel very uncomfortable and even affect your physical health, so you will secretly solve it at home every once in a while, right? By the end, Mito Sato and Coco had already blushed with shyness. No, not only her face, but even her neck and ears turned red. Just as hot air was rising above my head, I could transform into the legendary Steam Queen. And what she said was the common sense that Guanri Kuxian urgently reformed for her. Looking at Sato Miko, who was shy and incoherent, Guanri Kuxian felt relieved and awkwardly coughed, cough, 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 cough the words fell. The scene suddenly fell silent. Tick, 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 tick. The passage of time is second by second. After about a dozen seconds, Guanri Keshuan noticed that Miko Sato suddenly clenched his fist. Head up. Reddened and biting his lips, he looked over at Guanri Kuxian and said, Kuxian Jun. Guanri Kuxian was puzzled and said, What's wrong, my Hizi? Inhale, exhale. After taking a deep breath, Miko Sato suddenly clenched her fist and shouted out what she wanted to say in one breath. If you feel really uncomfortable in the future, Kuxian Jun, feel free to come to me and I can help you. Say it. She buried her head directly in her own chest. And at this moment, Guanri Kuxian. What? What? Guanri Kuxian. Guanri Kuxian was confused. After being stunned for 2 seconds, he finally realized. With a quick swipe, he stood up directly from the sofa and picked up Mizuko Sato. Sato Miko was immediately startled and exclaimed in Ko Xian's arms, Ko Xian Jun, you. What are you doing? Guanri Keshuan stopped and looked down at Sato Miko, saying seriously, damn it. Half an hour later. Looking at Sato Miko, who was sleeping soundly in his arms, Guanri Keshuan touched his sore waist and couldn't help but let out a faint sigh. Yes. Really Guanri Kuxian has sufficient capital and strong capital, but no matter how strong he is still an ordinary person. Last night 3 times, during the day 3 times, this is 6 times. Just once again. 7 whole times. Even if Kuxian had strong capital, he couldn't bear it anymore. The whole person has been completely drained. Not a drop left. Otherwise, how could he possibly only discuss the mysteries of life with Miko Sato once? Brother Tongzi, when can you let me draw a skill similar to 10 times a night? The man wants to fight. Rubbing his sore waist, Guanri Keshue couldn't help but feel hopeful in his heart. But speaking of it, Mito Sato, Miko, and Takagi should also be considered the main characters in this world, right? Since that's the case, have I gained a cutoff point again? Think of this. Guanri Kuxian's mind moved, and a semi-transparent light curtain suddenly appeared before his eyes. Name. Guanri Kuxian, age. 22, cutting point. 5,000, mastering skills. Changing common sense, 5,000. Sure enough. Guanri Kuxian's eyes suddenly lit up, and an excited expression quickly appeared on his face. But on the other hand, why is it only 5,000? Did Xiaolan give me a full 10,000 cutting points? Is it because Xiaolan is the female lead among the female leads, and Sato Miko is just an ordinary female lead, and so on? I don't think about it anymore, I don't think about it that much anymore. I just want to try it out with others in the future. There shouldn't be too many beautiful women in Conan's world. The reason why I used to be so cautious in my life was because I was worried about being entangled in the halo of the death god elementary school student, but now that the system is in place, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just do it and it's done. Seeking free flowers. Seeking free evaluation tickets. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Begging for everything. Whispering. Give some free flowers and free review tickets. Please. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Good wives, good mothers, and beautiful children. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Because I was tired all day. Guanri Kuxian quickly slept with the beautiful woman in his arms. But when he woke up, he found his arms empty and empty. Sato Miko was not in bed, but outside the room, there was a faint sound of chopping vegetables and flowing water. Perhaps A guess suddenly arose in his mind. Guanri Kuxian quickly got up, put on some clothes, and then left the bedroom. Just walked into the living room. From a distance, you can see Miko Sato busily waving a shovel in the open kitchen not far away. As she walked, her movements seemed a bit stiff. This is also normal. Although she is a criminal police officer and, like Xiaolan, has a naturally strong physique, yesterday was her first time and Kuxian's capital was so abundant. Looking at the busy figure of Sato Miko and Kazuko, Kazuri Kokushuan couldn't help but feel a sensation in his heart. He walked forward quickly and hugged the beautiful woman's slender waist from behind. Kuxian-jun, are you awake? Sato Miko exclaimed in surprise. Guanri Kuxian nodded and said, My Hizi, let me come. You go sit and rest for a while. Sato Miko, with a happy expression on her face, said, No need, Kuxian-jun, just let me come. You go wash yourself up first, and you can eat it right away. Guanri Kuxian asked after him, Do you really need my help? Sato Miko shook her head and insisted, You really don't need to, Kuxian-jun. This is what I should do. You go wash up quickly. Guanri Kuxian is not persisting. After kissing Miko Sato on the side, he turned around and went to the bathroom to wash up. When he finished washing up, changed his clothes, and came out of the house, Sato Miko happened to stir-fry the vegetables out of the pot. Kuxian-jun, you came just right, let's have dinner. After Sato Miko put down the plate, she walked up and grabbed Kuxian's arm, dragging him to the dining table. She said, Dang 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 dang, Kuxian-jun, look at the dishes I have prepared for you. These are all the dishes I bought for you when I went out to the nearby market this morning. Guanri Kuxian quickly glanced at the 4 dishes on the table. They are stir-fried eggs with leeks, stir-fried sausages with yams, stewed tofu with loaches, and steamed oysters. Chives, yams, loaches, oysters. After 2 seconds of silence, Guanri Kuxian turned his head and looked at Sato Miko next to him. He playfully curled his lips and said, Miko, it seems like you weren't very satisfied last night. Miko Sato's face suddenly turned red with a swoop. Ha ha ha. Guanri Kuxian burst into laughter. After affectionately pinching Miko Sato's hot and blood-red face, he sat down with her and said, All right, Miko, let's eat, let's have dinner. If we eat faster, we should be able to do morning exercises before we go to work. Morning exercise. Sato Miko clearly didn't react for a moment and asked in confusion. Guanri Kuxian raised his hands and gestured towards her. Sato Miyako immediately glanced at her with a passionate expression. 8:30 a.m. Police Department. At the entrance. Step by step. Step by step. 2 hurried footsteps came from the direction of the parking lot. Keep going. I saw Miko Sato and Kogen Mitsuri wearing uniforms and hurriedly walked over. At the last second, he ran into the gate of the police station. Ha! Finally, I arrived and almost arrived late. Guanri Kuxian glanced at his watch and said with a look of happiness on his face. Kuxian-jun, are you okay to say that just now I said there wasn't enough time, and you insisted on? Thinking of what had just happened in the foyer, Mito Sato's face turned red and she glared at her in anger. Hee hee, hee hee, hee hee. Guanri Kuxian scratched his head and chuckled, My Hizi, do you like it? Sato Miko's face turned even redder, and after hesitating for 2 seconds, she suddenly reached out and tugged at Kuxian's collar, saying, Kuxian-jun, your clothes are messy. Don't move, I'll help you tidy them up. Misako, don't you want to shift the topic? Guanri Kuxian has a bright smile. I don't like it, said Mizuko Sato with a red face and a stiff mouth. Guanri Kuxian showed a low expression and said, Okay, then it won't be like that again in the future. Sato Miko suddenly became anxious and hurriedly said, I like it, I like it. As he spoke, he met the playful gaze of Guanri Kuxian. Falling in love can indeed make women foolish. Miko Sato was just foolish. But now she suddenly came to her senses. Xianjun, if you ignore me, you will know how to bully me. After stomping her feet with a blood-red face, she turned around and strode towards the interior of the police station. The smile on Guanri Xian's face became even brighter, and he quickly chased after him. 7 shifts. Seeking free flowers. Seeking free evaluation tickets. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Begging for everything. Whispering. A new month, give me a free monthly pass, please. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Taking retreat as progress, starting the main line. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Good morning, Officer Sato. Good morning, Officer Sato. Good morning. Although Guanri Xian is not bad looking, he is still ranked among the top male staff in the entire police station. But when walking with Miko Sato, people's attention is almost entirely focused on her. There's no way. The nickname of Sato Miko as the flower of the Metropolitan Police Department is not just hyped up, but widely recognized by everyone. Officer Sato is so beautiful today. Yeah, I also feel it. Although Officer Sato has always been beautiful, I feel particularly beautiful today. Yes, I also have this feeling. Damn it, Guanri Xian, why are you walking with Officer Sato? Listening to the whispers and praises of Sato Miko coming from behind, Guanri Xian couldn't help but straighten his back, lift his chest, and his face was full of pride and pride. As if saying again. I did it. I did it. I am the result of hard work and hard work. Not long after arriving at the office where the third lesson was being searched and sitting down, Guanri Xian's phone suddenly shook. Open it and take a look. The corner of his mouth immediately curled up. The person who wrote the letter is Xiaolan. Xiaolan. Good morning, Xianjun. Cute expression, on the other side. Mouri Detective Office. In Xiaolan's room. Ding dong, the SMS ringtone suddenly rings. Xiaolan quickly picked up her phone. Xianjun. Good morning, Lan. Are you feeling better today? Will walking still be as painful as yesterday? Worried expression, looking at the concerned text on her phone, Xiaolan couldn't help but smile on her face. Lan. Much better, cute expression, Xianjun. That's good. Remember to take more rest today. By the way, you're going to Dalabijia Park this afternoon, right? Looking at the information on her phone, Xiaolan couldn't help but imagine the face of Shinichi Kudo in her mind. But then. She thought of what happened yesterday again. I will take responsibility, I will definitely take responsibility to the end. Thinking of this, she silently clenched her fist, her eyes filled with determination and determination. Lan. Well, yes, I will explain everything to Cini today. Xianjun. Lan, it's like this. Actually, I don't want to cause any cracks in your friendship with Kudo due to my own reasons. Xianjun. I am not a jealous person, I am a person who knows how to respect the thoughts of the other half. You have your interpersonal relationships, and I don't want you to have problems with them because of me. Do you understand what I mean? Lan. I understand, I know Xianjun. Do you mind if I continue to be friends with Cini, but it can only be friends, so I must explain this matter to Cini today. Xianjun. I respect your ideas. Lan. Xianjun, thank you for respecting me and believing in me. I will never let you down in my life. Although according to the plot of the animation, after today, the drum washing machine will leave forever, and Xiaolan will almost never see the real Shinichi Kudo again. But Since I have decided to completely occupy Xiaolan. To be on the safe side, Guanri Kuxian felt that he still needed to apply a patch. So, he came out like this. Using a move of retreat as a means of advancement, let Xiaolan firmly establish the idea of drawing a clear line with Shinichi Kudo. Lan. Image, Lan. Kuxian-jun, what do you think of me going dressed up today? Guanri Kuxian quickly downloaded the photo sent by Xiaolan. After taking a glance. Kuxian-jun. Although Lan is naturally beautiful, you cannot waste yourself. Isn't it too tacky for you to dress like this? Lan. But Kuxian-jun. There's nothing good about it, Lan. You were supposed to wear it the way you wanted to, but as I said, I completely respect your thoughts. Lan. Kuxian-jun, you're so nice, love your expression, Kuxian-jun. Momoda expression, time passes quickly through our conversations with Xiaolan, one by one. Today's police station is particularly quiet. In the blink of an eye, a whole day was about to pass, and we didn't even receive a single case during the search of Lesson 3. Just as everyone thought today was coming to an end. Dingling-lingling. The urgent phone ringing suddenly came from the open office of Officer Mu. Hello, this is Mu 13. What? There has been a vicious incident at Darobika Park. I know, I'll be right here. After hanging up the phone. Soon. Officer Mu strode out of the office. Taking a quick glance, he said, everyone, the case is here. There is a vicious case at Darobika Park, and we need to rush there as soon as possible. Yes, Officer Mu. Received. Understood. For a moment, the entire search of the 3 lessons suddenly took action. Dee dee. The sound of police sirens howled. Not long. Darobika Park, outside the roller coaster park. Police cars quickly stopped one by one. The roller coaster murder case. Guanri Kuxian, who got off the car, looked at the roller coaster field in front of him and his eyes couldn't help but flicker. Thank you to Fui Huan, Feilu book fans 102, 1089, and Chaos Ultimate Destruction Death Dragon for their great monthly support. The 8th update is on. There should be 3 shifts at night. Seeking free flowers, evaluation tickets, monthly tickets, and rewards. All the pictures in this book were carefully selected by the author and are welcome to be tasted. However, some pictures may be at risk of being blocked, so readers should cherish them carefully. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. The Lonely Xiaolan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Step by step. Step by step. Step by step. Under the leadership of Officer Mu, Guanri Kuxian and some of the criminal police officers who searched Section 3 hurriedly arrived at the scene. Just as he arrived at the scene, Guanri Kuxian noticed at first glance a person with a white face, standing alone and trembling in place, Xiaolan. Xiaolan is indeed a very strong person. No matter how strong she is just a high school girl. And don't say she's a high school girl. The scene that Xiaolan witnessed just now, even if it was witnessed by an adult strong man who was caught off guard, would probably be startled and even leave a psychological shadow. Xiaolan, are you okay? Guanri Kuxian walked up quickly and gently draped his coat over Xiaolan's body. Upon seeing Guanri Kuxian, a hint of blood suddenly appeared on Xiaolan's pale face, and her trembling gaze quickly calmed down. Kuxian-jun. Xiaolan, don't look anymore. Before Xiaolan could speak, Kuxian leaned on her shoulder and shifted her gaze away from the headless female corpse not far away. What about Kudo, that guy? After looking around, Guanri Kuxian suddenly frowned and asked, didn't you come out with him? Why didn't you see anyone else? Didn't you just be together? When it came to Kudo Shinichi, a hint of desolation suddenly appeared on Xiaolan's face. Shinichi was riding a roller coaster with me just now, but as soon as the roller coaster stopped, he suddenly disappeared. He must have discovered something. Guanri Kuxian furrowed his brows even tighter and said, "What the hell is that kid thinking? When such a thing happened, he actually left you alone." Speaking of this, Guanri Kuxian seemed to have thought of something and suddenly lowered his voice, saying, "Has it been?" "Xiaolan, you have already explained that matter to him clearly." Xiaolan's expression changed slightly and she bit her lip, saying, "Not yet. I don't know how to speak. I'm really sorry to Kuxian-jun." Guanri Kuxian frowned and his expression of dissatisfaction grew stronger. "Since you haven't explained it clearly to him yet, why did he treat you like this? Isn't he your childhood sweetheart? Why could he run away without Anda comforting you? Does he really have you in his heart?" Xiaolan's expression darkened as she said, "I." Guanri Kuxian originally intended to take the opportunity to knock and say a few bad words about Kudo Shinichi, gradually reducing Xiaolan's favor towards Kudo Shinichi. But at this moment, the shouting of Officer Mu Mu suddenly came over. "Guanri! Guanri! Officer Mu, I'm coming over right now." After responding, Guanri Kuxian whispered to Xiaolan, "All right, Xiaolan, please rest on the side and calm down. I need to go over first. Officer Mu Mu called me." Xiaolan nodded and said, "Well, let's go." "Officer Mu Mu." Guanri Kuxian walked quickly to the side of Mu Mu 13 and said, "Guanri, you're here. Take a look, do you think this incident is murder or an accident?" Mu Mu 13 still highly values Guanri Kuxian. After all, since joining the police station, Guanri Kuxian has solved many cases through his efforts over the past year. This has greatly improved the reputation of the Metropolitan Police Agency, which has long been criticized and suspected due to the rise of Kudo Shinichi's fame. "Let me take a look first." After putting on his specialized gloves, Guanri Kuxian quickly squatted down in front of the body, opened the white cloth and carefully examined it before standing up. Actually, Guanri Kuxian knows the plot. But he can't identify the killer without any reason or evidence, can he? It still needs to be acted out. To be honest, Guanri Kuxian had no intention of solving this case. After all, being too high profile is not a good thing. He doesn't really care about his reputation. In fact, sometimes having a high reputation is not a good thing. After all, if you are too famous, you will be easily recognized wherever you go, and your privacy will not be guaranteed. By the way, since cutting off Xiaolan's beard can obtain the cutting off point, can we also cut off this case from Kudo Shinichi's hands? With such thoughts in mind. So, Guanri Kuxian suddenly changed his mind. Complete the operation in one go. The blood-stained dagger hidden in the backpack of the suspect Lady Izzy was successfully found, but her identity as the murderer was easily ruled out by Guanri Kuxian. After all, it's impossible to use this small dagger to cut off a person's head on a roller coaster, and it's so neat. Here, Guanri Kuxian specifically takes vodka as an example. Even a muscular man with 3 to 5 thick muscles cannot achieve it. Since the Lady Izzy with the dagger in her bag is not the culprit, then it must be the real culprit who is falsely accusing her. This can prove that this incident was not an accident. It is necessary to rely on the speed of a roller coaster and use props such as piano strings to instantly surrender a person's head. It's like walking through a maze. It's difficult to walk from the entrance to the exit. But if you walk in the opposite direction from the exit, it is easy to reach the entrance. Guanri Kuxian knew how the case happened, so the process of extrapolating was very smooth. In just a few words, it quickly caught everyone's attention. Accompanied by Ms. Izzy's exclamation, "Little pupils, why is your pearl necklace missing?" The murderer's little pupils couldn't hold their breath anymore, tears quietly falling down, and he admitted his crime. Name: Guanri Kuxian, age 22, cutting point 50-50, mastering skills. Changing common sense, 50-50. It's up 50 points. This indicates that in the case of Shinichi Fuji, the beard-cutting worker, you can also receive a reward for the beard-cutting points, not just the beard-cutting girls. Guanri Kuxian's eyes lit up. System. Dear, is it possible that you thought it was wrong from the beginning? This system is a legitimate one. Guanri Kuxian said, the orthodox system. Hee. Who's the orthodox system that will change the host's knowledge of these hentai skills? Seeking free flowers. Seeking free evaluation tickets. Looking for a monthly pass. Please give me a reward. Begging for everything. Oh my God, give me some free flowers and free review tickets. I beg you all handsome and beautiful readers. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Xiaolan's Wrongings. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What should have come will eventually come back. Guanri Kuxian was originally thinking about how to redirect his attention from himself to gin and vodka after intercepting the case of Kudo Shinichi. I didn't think about the outcome. The impatient urging of gin and vodka successfully caught the attention of Shinichi Kudo, who had just arrived at the scene. Alright, since the case has been solved and the culprit has been caught, let's go now. We have an urgent matter to deal with. The sound of gin is cold and hoarse. As soon as the front foot stepped out, the back foot immediately caught Kudo Shinichi's gaze. After two people exchanged a glance, Kudo Shinichi's pupils suddenly shrank, and his expression suddenly became serious. Seeing this scene, Guanri Kuxian breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. The case was indeed solved. The culprit was indeed caught. Mumu 13 followed the meaning of gin and vodka, waving to the vigilante detectives to make way and let the two leave. Kudo Shinichi had no intention of catching up. Although he has a low emotional intelligence, he also knows that he should go and comfort Xiaolan at this time. But before he could leave, Kuxian had already taken a step ahead of him and came to Xiaolan. He handed a tissue over and said, "Here. Thank you, thank you." Looking at Guanri Kuxian in front of her, Xiaolan instinctively looked in the direction of Kudo Shinichi. Then he saw Shinichi Kudo waving his phone towards him from a distance, and then turned around and ran away. Xiaolan instinctively took out her phone and glanced at it. Sini. Sorry Xiaolan, I found two people who are a bit suspicious. You can go back by yourself later. Looking at the text message from Shinichi Kudo, an inexplicable sense of grievance quickly swept through Xiaolan's entire body. Although she had made up her mind to give an explanation to Kuxian, who had been ruthlessly taken away by herself, and to be responsible for Kuxian, she had decided to draw a clear line with Shinichi Kudo today. But Kudo Shinichi's actions still made her feel very aggrieved. It's clearly a relationship that grew up together as childhood sweethearts. I was startled just now and witnessed such a terrifying scene. But how dare you not even come to comfort me? Are you just leaving like this? Driven by a strong sense of grievance, Xiaolan's tear valve could not be completely controlled, tears streaming down her face. Guanri, we're leaving. Mumu 13 suddenly walked up and said, noticing the crying Xiaolan. He was taken aback for a moment and then said, Xiaolan. Guanri, is this Xiaolan? What's wrong with her? I just witnessed a cruel murder case, and then I was stimulated by the love and hate between Izzy Lizi and Tongzi. Guanri Kuxian said as he handed a tissue to Xiaolan. Where's brother Kudo? Mumu looked around in confusion, but did not find the figure of Kudo Shinichi. Let's go. When it comes to Kudo Shinichi, Ko Shin's tone is a bit indifferent. He didn't even have the idea of coming over to see Miss Xiaolan and comfort her. He sent Miss Xiaolan a text message asking her to go back on her own and then left. Mumu 13 was momentarily stunned, unsure of what to say. He used to work with Xiaolan's father, Mori Kagoro, and over the past 2 years, he has frequently interacted with Kudo Shinichi due to his rise. So he still has some understanding of the childhood sweethearts of Kobayashi and Shinichi Kudo. I didn't expect it. Kudo Shinichi surprisingly did such a thing. Mumu 13 instinctively thought to himself, if this had happened to his wife Mumu Green, how disappointed she must be with herself. Brother Kudo really is. Watching Xiaolan cry uncontrollably, Momo Shirsan couldn't help but feel a sense of resentment towards Kudo Shinichi. Officer Mu, we have already organized everything here. At this moment, Gao Mushi suddenly ran over and opened his mouth to report. Well, I got it. After nodding towards Takagi Shigeru, Mumu looked at Xiaolan, who was still choking up and crying. Finally, he turned his gaze to Guanri Kuxian and said, Guanri, I have given you a task, so you don't have to go back to the police station. Send Xiaolan back safely. Yes, Officer Mumu, make sure to complete the task. Guanri Kashuan stood straight and straightened his body. Well, then I'll trouble you. We need to go back to the police station first. After Mumu finished speaking, he waved his hand towards Takagi and said, Takagi, let's go. Yes. After Officer Mu and his group left, Guanri Kuxian waited quietly for a while longer. During this period, I kept passing paper to Xiaolan one by one. He didn't speak up and didn't take the opportunity to say anything bad about Shinichi Kudo. Going beyond the limit is as bad as falling short. Now it's time for Xiaolan to think carefully. On the other side. Dorobika Park. On a commercial street. Kudo Shinichi, who was tracking gin and vodka from a distance, seemed to have noticed something and quickly lowered his head. At the same time, he put a green sun hat from a roadside stall on his head, pretending to be a tourist. The next moment, Qin Jiu's gaze quickly swept over him. Sorry, just got home, Chapter 10. Looking for free flowers, free evaluation tickets, tips, and monthly tickets. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.